Hi, and welcome to Women That Build. I'm Preet Kershaw.
And I'm Andrew Saviolis.
And this is part 2 of our podcast today. We're sitting here with Ramses Frias, and he's running for City Council, District 25. This is the second part of our podcast, and we're going to be hearing some more juicy info on what you need to know of what City Council does and can do for you and your business as well. So let's get right to it. So my next question for you is, where do you see New York City in 2 years? And what about 5 years from now?
Well, in 2 years with Curtis Lewa as mayor, that's who I'm pushing for to get up in that office. I see us moving in the right direction and taking the necessary steps to rein in the issues on quality of life, especially when it comes to crime and public safety. So with the right people in office, I see us, moving and taking the baby steps that we kind of need to start to fix the issues that are at hand.
Now, with that being said, I know we spoke about it in the first episode on how everybody thinks that the mayor has ultimate power. That's it, king of the hill, everything good. But a lot of people don't realize that city council, community boards, different politicians in your area do make a more significant impact than the mayor. The mayor is just like the president.
Yeah.
President has to have Senate, House of Representatives to actually do things. So now with that being said, the education of these podcasts is actually saying you running for city council is actually more important for people who live in your district than the mayor.
Yeah, definitely. City council has a big step in everything to get taken care of in the district. You want your streets cleaned up. You want it's kind of like the legislature in regards to the president. We are the ones that would be implementing laws to get things taken care of, and it's a big push. But people need to understand that you have to know who your next city councilman is. You have to know who are your candidates. You have to be involved in knowing these things for your livelihood, for the livelihood of your family. You don't just give, a run-of-the-mill person that's out in the street and tell them, all right, here's a bulldozer, start lifting up, some dirt from over here. That person has to be trained. That person has to know what the process is, follow safety guidelines and everything like that. So we need to have people in place, and people need to be educated enough to know, all right, this person should not be my representative. This person should not be here, standing up and speaking for me when what they're delivering is not what I'm saying. We need real people that have their feet on the ground, like are realists. You can hope and you can dream, you can picture a great future, but the person that's there has to be real, has to be part of that community, has to live there, breathe the same air that everybody else is breathing. I see muck, dirt, grime, and things that are disgusting, garbage thrown everywhere, nobody taking care of anything, nobody caring. So how is it that I care so much, my neighbors care so much, but my councilman doesn't?
With that being said, I don't know who my city council is in Staten Island. And I just said it with an accent so you know where I'm from. I have some education to do on myself. Where do I find that? I don't even know if there's a local office in my area that I don't even know the name. And I am an avid primary voter. I'm an avid, and I'm actually kind of embarrassed as much as I preach about voting and every single thing. I don't know who is my district city council.
Beautiful thing, we have Google, right?
I know that.
You can always jump in there, but you'll get the information. And but then that's an issue that's on your councilman. Your councilman should be reaching out to you, right? Everybody should know who their councilman is.
But what's funny is that, and I'm just saying this, don't get me wrong, I could, make sure that my thought process is correct. And, definitely, but my mind right now, and I want to put this out there because I kind of feel that people who are listening kind of have the same type of thing that I'm going through. I'm like, my city councilman was Michael Grimm, but I don't know. He said he was going to throw people off of balconies, but I don't know. No, this is, it's whatever I heard in the media, but yet I don't know who my council member is.
Yeah.
I know that there was several different district attorneys that I saw in the media, and I saw these types of media type of grabs. And I'm not trying to say anything who I just named, but just in general, my first thought is I heard from the media, so I thought it could be my city council member.
Right.
I'm sitting here kind of embarrassed because I did not actually do what I'm trying to talk about in this podcast of going forward.
But again, I feel that's not on you. The council member needs to reach out to everyone in their community. They should be a household name. They should be a face that you recognize just in the street. I'm out there every single day. People in my neighborhood will be like, "Hey, Ramses, how you doing?"
I know exactly who I'm voting for. The solar equipment guy that comes to my door, because he's always coming to my door, not my city council member.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, there's a total disconnect between the community and the people in office. And they like that, because they want to coast. That's what I've seen anyway. I've seen a lot of people. They just let me stay under the radar, or if something does come up, I'll speak on it real quick and then just let it dissipate and disappear. No, I'm in your face. I'm in everybody's face, and I want everybody to say, you know what? I know that guy. I've known him for years. He's a good guy, and he does really genuinely care about the community. And these are, again, it's not the fault of the voter. The voters can only get the information that's given to them. We have things to do with our lives every single day. We can't be on top of everything, right? So it should be an easier way for the voter to know who their council member is, what they do, if they were educated on it. But who's teaching them? Who's reaching out to them? Who's providing pamphlets or anything just to have an understanding to your voter, to the resident in your area of what you do, why you're there, and what you can do for them. How you can represent them. It's a lot of talking to and not accepting the communication back. I have people complain all the time. They say, I've reached out to my council member. They never answer the phone. I send emails. Nobody ever answers me. I reach out to Congress, my Congress representative. They don't answer me. Their office is always closed. I pass by on a Monday, 9 a.m., it's closed. I pass by on a Tuesday, 4 p.m., it's closed. So what are we really doing? And why is no one being held accountable for these things?
Funny you mention that. And I want to circle it back to some of the episodes that we had on this podcast. We spoke about certain departments in diversity in the state. We spoke about a lot of different small businesses not getting their retainage from a construction job site for years. We're talking about double digits in the thousands, and reaching out and say, all right, no problem. On this thing, all right, yeah, this person. We're talking about Albany is not answering. I personally literally called up every day 8 times for, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say Dasney, to ask for their diversity department for a client for certain things. I tried for 8 weeks, once a day.
No, this is disrespectful.
So with that being said, where is actually the accountability? Where is actually holding them to the fire? Because at the end of the day, if we were all grifting, we'd be fired.
Right. Exactly. Anybody that does what they do would be out on the street.
Yep.
And you're not going to, it's like I said, it's disrespectful.
Yes.
There's no reason that you cannot find somebody to speak to and to answer a question that you have. And that disconnect, it always goes back to that communication disconnect between the person representing you and you. Why isn't there just an easier communication? All right, yeah, it's a big area. There's thousands of people that live in the district, but it's still your town.
Correct.
It's like a small town, right? Each district is considered a small town. I that's how I have a small town mentality of my neighborhood.
No, that's how it should be.
You know, Elmhurst, I consider that a small town within itself.
Yep.
Jackson Heights, they have their way of kind of being. That's their little town. Corona, Woodside, Sunnyside, each has their own little cute niche or whatever it is, and that's their town. That's where you're from. So as a collective, those towns are within a district. And why is it that the person that's there, which would be like the mayor, like back in the day, you know, in like a Western, that would be like the mayor of that town. People were able to talk to the mayor.
Yeah.
You know, you would see him walking past. So that's the council member. That's that kind of how it is for that small town. Why don't you ever see your council member in the street? Why don't you ever see them in the supermarket?
You don't.
So you know what? It brings me to another type of idea. How divided is us in New York City? Because if I can't even fathom who my city council member is, does that as an extension come into dealing with city government? How divided or even a standstill, in your opinion, New York City government right now, how is it? Because I'm not seeing any changes and I'm frustrated.
We are completely divided. There's a very small minority group of, you know, Republicans in office. And since they're the minority, their voices get muted. Then everything just goes off of what the Democrats are doing. So they're the major voice. They're going to be the loudest. They're the ones that kind of push for everything and get everything pushed because they're the majority. Majority rules. So we're divided and in a thought process because they don't choose to listen to a different idea. If it didn't come from them, they don't care about it. They don't want to hear it. And they don't want to, you know, open up their ears to it. They're so big on inclusion, but you kind of still separate people.
But at the same time, can be said on either side.
Right. And that's where I feel I'm a different person when it comes to this. I want to hear everybody out and I want to find a common ground, but within the guidelines, within respect of each other, within, you know, where everybody feels like this is production, not, you know, going backwards. This is something that's going to move us forward, right? Everybody's like, no, it's my idea, and if you don't like it, that's it. Or, you know, there's no communication, there's no, you know, back and forth. There's no, let's sit down and let's figure this out. Everybody's just like, no, this is what we were told to do, and this is what we're going to go by, and that's it.
That's it.
No, it's not like that. Life isn't like that. Life isn't so sure. You know, things can change from one day to the next.
Yeah. And
you have to adapt to that. So the division within New York City politics it's going to cause it's causing an issue already.
Correct.
You know, and where people feel like they're not being heard and they're not being their values are not being upheld. People's moral compass is out the window.
Don't even get me started with that because I will tell you right now, the one thing I have discussed for is that if somebody did something wrong, a politician, back in the day, it was a scandal. They said, respectfully for my family, my community, I will resign. I will take myself out of office. Nowadays, it's like, no problem. Hey, I killed a hooker and dumped her body like that, but I can still run for a second term.
Right.
Obviously,
no, of course, but that's the case, right? Where they're taking their position and just treating it as if it's just a nothing job, when it's so important, when you can do so much, you can uplift the lives of so many people, you can
Correct.
change the future of so many people, and you're not.
And I'll close out with this, not to go too far into it, but in general, when you see your local politicians or even national politicians, instead of do what the right thing to do or what the respectful thing to do, and they push the boundaries because of their own self-interest, that's when it actually has a significant downturn in the sanctity or the respect of those institutions. So with that being said, the reason why we keep on going lower and lower is because, well, the other person kind of said, I'm not leaving. So we're just going to go deeper into the mud instead of saying, hey, listen, I came to this office, I took an oath of office. That's the one thing that I've always stayed true on. You took an oath. You promised on your oath on the Constitution and everything like that. So in general, and now I'm going to base it back onto the local communities, and especially on the city council, is that type of thing in the local neighborhoods. If you allow things to keep on going lower, you allow things to get away with murder, you get allow street vendors to just do it. Now you are setting an example for politicians to say, all right, great. I kind of stole $300 million and I figured out a way because I'm on the inside to keep power. That is not democracy. Again, I'm saying my own views. It doesn't have to be anybody's. But I'm just saying in general, you just lowered the standard to make people just take advantage.
Within the person themselves, right? The person that is in that position and is carrying themselves that way, they're not showing the true care. And during their campaign, they'll be like, "Oh, I love you. I want to give you this. I want to do this for you."
Transactional,
right?
I want your vote. I'll promise you anything.
I'll promise you anything.
Lots of promises.
You want free buses? I got you. You want,
we'll get to that.
We want to give you government-run supermarkets, right? We want to lower the prices on everything. I got you.
Let me ask you this now. When it comes to housing and rent, rent is ridiculous in Queens. I don't know how they expect people to survive, because whoever is living out there right now in a second floor or a first floor, they have to live with family just to get by.
Yep.
What can the city council do? And let me elaborate a little bit more about that. There is a lot of people that are on assisted living when it comes to the rent. Now they can go out and find any place for rent. The city will pay their rent. Mind you, there's so many stories. So many people are talking about it. These people have a husband or a boyfriend. They have children. They are working. They're claiming that they're not working and they don't have any assistance. They're taking advantage of the system. Yeah. What can you do?
Checks and balances. It's time to start cleaning everything up. There's a lot of corruption going on, and it's time to really dig deep, go in there and get people the help that really need it, the help, and get those that are, taking advantage of it right off and getting them to work. It's really difficult to make New York affordable right now. There's different policies that have to be implemented. A rent freeze would not help because landlords are then suffering because they can't do the updates that they need to apartments that are sitting vacant.
2019 law that passed, we have 110,000 apartments that are sitting vacant because there is no way for landlords to actually put the investment into the apartment and actually get the rent. Listen, landlords are in everybody's eye the devil because, of course, they have the property. You're renting from them. I understand that. But at the same time, you have to realize that everything is not black and white. You have to mold on certain things. So when you make a law that says it's not actually achievable to get your investment back, yes, you can be a slumlord. No problem. Charge slumlord rates. But if you have to improve on the property and it is in the neighborhood, Fifth Avenue and such as that, you have to charge certain market rates. Mm-hmm. Then you can open up apartments. You can open up the supply. That way the demand is not so high and then prices come down. But when it's not, when you do $75,000 worth of renovations and you can only charge $19 more per month, the math is not mathing.
Yeah, you're not getting the return.
Yeah, no. Besides that, too, a lot of homeowners who, I'm talking about residential home now, right? They have people live in their home and then they stop paying rent. Now, these people, they'll take them to court. They will live freely for over a year.
Yep.
The homeowner is in jeopardy. They cannot pay their mortgage. Yeah. The judge allowed that to happen. There's no way they cannot find a place to move. There is, but they just don't look because they want the free rent. They're not paying. And that's why a lot of people would not invest into, residential homes because of that reason.
Yeah, we have
It's
a
not
lot
worth
of
it.
the squatters' rights, for
Yes.
people that, they're allowed to live in this person's home rent free. That should change. That doesn't make sense. It's not sensible.
But
It
also
doesn't
too,
work for anybody.
But at the same time, like even myself, I'm moving from my current location to another location. And I went from a situation where I was living with roommates to now myself. It is New York. Even my age, you need everybody. You need
Yes.
to afford certain things, which that's another conversation about actually affordable living. But even in that sense, I had to tell my roommates, like, hey, listen, I give you plenty of notice, like 90 days, such like that. We have a great relationship. I just chose at my age, I want to live on my own. I, deserve it. I had to put something in there that's, just as a caution. By the way, when I move out, my utilities are getting cut off. So if you want to stay here, there's not going to be anything. And don't get me wrong, some people will say, I'll stay, I'll squat, even though there's no utilities.
Right.
And that's normal.
Yeah.
And it's just like, where's that quality of living and saying like, hey, listen, we can do better. We can actually be better, areas and neighborhoods to say like, hey, listen, we don't want to just live to survive. We actually want to live to, benefit our families, our, communities.
What I would like to see a lot of is get people off of a renter's mentality and into more of ownership.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
That would, really change a lot of the dynamics and the face of different neighborhoods. If
Yes.
people start buying.
Definitely outside the plan of questions that I had for you. When about 15 years ago, I had a deal that I was lucky to make with my landlord to rent to own, right? Nowadays, it's not available in New York.
No.
And I'm lucky I hold that place. And it's funny when I was just talking about moving out from the place I was going to place I'm going at, I'm literally moving from upstairs from the 3-bedroom home I'm at with roommates to move downstairs to the side 1-bedroom apartment because technically in 5 years that would still be mine.
Right.
Now, when I tell that story, and I told this story to you, and Preet was happy enough to say, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, none of my friends know that because it's not allowed in New York.
Correct.
The most expensive place to live, that's not allowed.
But can the city council do anything about these housing issues that they're having?
Yeah. Again, when it comes to zoning for real estate development, that's huge for a city council.
Okay.
Again, it goes through the board first, for the
Community
area.
boards.
Okay.
The community boards, they see the plot of land. Okay, this is good. This could be changed into residential. This could be changed into mixed use.
Yep.
And then that goes into the city council. They can approve that. So city council can definitely make a lot of changes. City of Yes is kind of part of this. There's a lot of changes that are coming about, and all that gets pushed through city council to, for redevelopment of our neighborhoods.
And what about the rental issue that where, tenant are just staying beyond and the judge is allowing? Is that something city council can do? Can they put a kind of law where, no, you have 90 days max, you have to find a place and you need to be out?
Legislation needs to be revisited in all of these home ownerships and any type of rental instances. All of those legislation needs to be revisited and updated. A lot of things are probably like from the past and they're continuing to allow this to stay that way because it benefits them in whatever shape or form.
I don't see which way, but okay.
Right. Yeah. Somebody's getting paid for something, right? For keeping things the same way forever. So
correct.
Those are, again, when it goes back to corruption and things that are being involved in the things that are being allowed, somebody needs to, blow the whistle and say, all right, let's stop this. Let's
and the
fix
same
this.
thing goes also for the help that people are getting for rent, for example. They are working, they're working cash.
Right.
They're not showing it. So these are things city council can help with to change the laws there.
That's right. Yep.
Because it's all, at the end of the day, you're working a job, right? Part of your check, right? Your money goes to that too. So it's like, why do we need to pay into things like this when these people don't even need it? Right. Gateway, for example, my friend was telling me a few weeks ago, she went to Gateway to do grocery. Now there's a housing building around there. All those housing places has BMW and all these expensive car parked there. If you're on help you need help from the government, you shouldn't even own a car.
Right.
So
Public transportation should be your go-to.
exactly. So who's really, behind making these decisions
Yeah.
and qualifications, especially qualifications?
Yeah. And that goes into our departments, our city departments that oversee these things. We need to do a checks and balances on them.
Yeah.
Why has this been allowed?
Yes.
Why are you not doing your job?
Yes.
Nobody really holds anybody accountable in New York.
Well,
Yes.
that's the thing that we've had talks in the past on this podcast about. Are the people that are being hired for these departments of the city, are they being hired due to their knowledge, education, background, empathy, actually realizing that, hey, listen, if you're looking over a certification application or if you're looking over certain things, that you understand the gravity of it?
Right.
Or are they just hired out of a test or whatever? All right, great, pencil pusher. And then at that point, it's like, all right, well, you see the same thing every day. Yeah, no, approved. And it's just like, all right, we're still paying your salary as taxpayers.
Nobody wants to work. Everybody's just like, I'm just going to chill.
Yeah.
I just got to make it through the week. I don't want to really do this today. At my job, I have to work, right? The call comes in. I'm talking to somebody. There's somebody else on the other line that needs my assistance. I have to give my full attention to them.
Yeah.
I need to help them. If they need to recertify for their insurance, they're in a situation where they feel helpless. Please help me recertify for my insurance. I go through it step by step with them. We take down their information, make sure it's processed correctly so that they get, what they deserve. A lot of people are out there. They do take advantage of things. They are working off the books. They're taking advantage of Medicaid, Section 8. They're taking advantage of all
Too
these
many things.
great things that could help lift up so many people that really need it.
Needs it, correct.
And it's not getting to the ones that really need it. So a system of checks and balances where every department, I hate to say it, with the Doge, Elon and Doge, that was a pretty good idea and it worked. And it found a lot of money that was being sent here and there and given to people that didn't need it and didn't deserve it. I feel New York needs to have that same kind of breakdown where each department will be, checked to see, all right, who's getting the money? Is that person really in need of this money or of these resources? And can we help them to step out of that already? Can we get them to a place where they can become a homeowner? Can we switch them to finding like really good work that's going to provide for them, provide for their families, and allow them to step up on the rung of life? Everybody's just here.
Yeah.
And just staring up at the top. That needs to change.
Correct.
So, and by all means, excuse me if my naive ways, in our world as far as construction and business, for us to go through any program, we have to go through a cohort. Preet just went through last year a 1 year cohort with Columbia Business School. And with that, for the benefits to get that. Now, you may say like, oh, what benefits business, benefits of actually living and actually getting rent assistance. Had to go and graduate through a whole year's worth of a cohort schedule to get the benefits from it.
Right.
So now, is there anything going on in the city where it's like, okay, cool, you can get this assistance, but at the same time, you have to put 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is, of your time to educate yourself of financial management?
I wish.
All right. Well, in business, all these cohorts will kick you out if you do not give one assignment. And the benefit to small business owners is that they will get a discount on their business insurance, which, by the way, sometimes is half the cost of doing business insurance. So now you'll, instead of 50% of a course, you'll go down to 35. And everybody is clamoring to get into this cohort. But yet we do that for business who's actually providing taxes and employment and everything, but not the people. Education.
There's nobody ruffling the feathers, man. Nobody's ruffling the feathers. Nobody's trying to bring something substantial to the table. Nobody's trying to really help people. You just
Yes,
kind of want to just,
true.
all right, I'm going to give you $100 a month. Here you go, and stay there.
All right, so then you get used to that. And same thing if you're dating somebody from the beginning and you just say, all right, no problem. Your bad habits. Oh, yeah, baby doll. Get whatever you like.
Yeah, exactly. I got
No
you.
problem.
Don't worry
I
about
don't
it.
understand why you're throwing a fit if I didn't give you money when I have no money to give you and you want to, this and this or no, there's no education from the beginning to say, hey, this is the value of what you're getting.
Nobody's
So there's
holding
nothing.
anybody accountable, man. There's nothing in place to actually lift people out of the gutter.
You know what's funny is the reason why I'm kind of like flabbergasted by this is that in these cohorts, we're talking about 1,000 firms applying for 20 spots. And we're talking about profitable firm. So yeah, we have this for business, but yet not for education for everybody else.
It's so sad. It's so sad for that to even come about to this way, that we make it hard for people to do better for themselves, but make it easier for you to stay stagnant.
Yep. And I'm going to ask a couple of controversial questions and then I'll leave the business and slide that to Preet. I have to ask just a little bit of a hot topic. Where do you see the city in the next 4 years? And I'm going to say on both spectrums. If the next mayor is a Democrat, socialist, or if it's a independent, which is basically Democrat who could not win. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or Republican or any. Don't get me wrong. With everything in politics, everybody plays the game. So I'm not going to say across the board, oh well, one party is better than the next. But we do have an interesting race coming up. You're campaigning for city council in your district of District 25 in Queens, and again. Ladies and gentlemen, take notes. District 25 in Queens, because you actually have a person representing you and speaking out loud. So just take notes. But with that being said, first on, say, who's the front runner of the blue side and front runner from the red side, and where do you see the city in the next 4 years on either side?
We'll get it off the gate. The front runner for the Democrats is Zoran Mamdani, and he's running on the socialist ticket. This guy's a great actor. Comes from a good acting background with his family and works in movie productions and things of that nature. So
I heard some things,
yeah, his mom is a director for like Disney, and they're millionaires, they have money, and he's pushing this socialist kind of life that doesn't match. Right, but it's similar to what Karl Marx was, because he was pretty rich, blew all his money though, and then that's when he started saying, "Oh, everybody should be equal." So we have this gentleman here, young guy. I give it to him for the push that he's doing, and he's trying to show that he's standing up for something, but that he doesn't know anything about. He doesn't live the life that a regular New Yorker lives. He did not grow up that way, and he's not living that lifestyle now, right? And you're trying to implement something for the working class people. You've never worked. You've never gotten your fingernails dirty. You've never gotten in there and had to sweat. You never had to work overtime, just to make your electricity payment. You haven't been out there lifting up garbage and throwing things out and helping a neighbor out, that's low, and try to help them up. You don't have that life experience, and you're trying to implement so many things that you know nothing about, really. You haven't lived through it. There's people that come to this country to escape socialism, and you're trying to throw that in their face. They came here for that difference. They came here for that feeling that I'm not going to be living under the rule of somebody. Government is not going to control everything I say or everything I do. And that's something that when he's out speaking, people aren't listening to, or they're not listening to the people that come from these countries that came here, for a better life. We have now people coming here from Venezuela. There's a huge amount of people that came from Venezuela, especially in my neighborhood. Because it's more welcoming, it's more of their culture. And they left a lifestyle, and that was hurting them, that wasn't allowing them to rise. Now you're gonna come all the way to Queens, New York, and you have all this opportunity that you want to take, that you want to push forward on, and now this gentleman wants to come in and start implementing these socialist rules and lifestyles. It's not going to work. It doesn't benefit anybody. We need people to. We need businesses to grow. We can't implement government-owned businesses to take over, grocery stores or pharmacies and things of that nature.
Because government has done such a great job.
Right. You go to the, they're not going to, care for you the way, a mom and pop shop would care for you. It's just going to be like, all right, here, go in, get out, take this. This is all you have, and go. There have been socialist supermarkets in other states that they try to do it, and it's not working. Shelves are empty. And then also what you're going to do is start knocking out all the bodegas and supermarkets in the area. These are people that own these establishments. They're either own it as a franchise or they started it from the ground up. And that's it. They don't get a say. We're just going to get rid of them. It's not fair to take advantage of people while they're down and raising their hopes up. Correct. Just because you're saying, oh, it's free. Yeah. And when I was a kid and my cousin was running for class president when we were in junior high school, we would say, hey, let's say that we're not going to get homework anymore, that you're going to fight for no more homework, right? You're going to fight for extra chocolate milk, at lunch, and then they'll vote for us that way, These are all just hopes and dreams. It doesn't work out in the end, right?
My apologies to interrupt you, but I really do have to say this. It's not hopes and dreams. It's literally lying.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this about who you're talking about. I'm just saying in general. I think as a society, we really need to stop hearing, I'm going to give you the lottery ticket and so you can vote for me. I never understood why New Yorkers, how tough we are and no bullshit, we eat this up.
Oh my God. Thank you for that, because I've been dealing with that myself. It's like, where's everybody's head at? Where are the New Yorkers at that are like, yeah, right, this guy's full of shit.
Yes.
Like, get out of here. We know that we work hard. We know that if we continue to work hard and put ourselves in a position to move, we can make those moves happen, right? We don't want to sit still. There's New Yorkers, the real core of New Yorkers work hard every day for their family, for themselves, to step up, to have something that they can call their own, right? Even if they're just working at it for right now so that they can move out of state, which is the reason that they're being pushed out is because of all these, crazy ideals that are coming in. People are like, I don't want to waste my time here, and I'm not going to get what I deserve after I put in all this work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So people are standing up. They are waking up. A certain few are trying to, are starting to see through the bullshit, hopefully. And we can just push forward to another level. Now, I have Curtis Lee while running on the Republican side, a man that's been an advocate for public safety since day one.
I've seen his speeches, yeah.
He's been shot, he's been stabbed, he's been beat up, to represent New York and to protect people. And he has, great ideas. He does want to help, make New York more affordable for individuals and lift up our communities. And it's going to be difficult because everybody's so hard tuned into the democratic lifestyle and what they push and what has been pushed to us and our children, even in school, that it's almost as if somebody that's coming with this type of idea of like, hey, let's fix what's broken is like, you're the weird one now.
I mean, I think that we can talk about this forever.
Yeah.
But I thought about something as you were explaining a lot of things, and I want to put it more into Preet's corner, is in its entirety, like we were saying earlier, that her company celebrated the 10th year anniversary. What rewards somebody who is at this point employing myself, as somebody who's helping her business, as well as tens of people. I mean, we're talking about multiple families. Preet is a small business. She is certified. She's done everything the proper way. So what are the rewards for her? Or should she even do this anymore? Because, what is it actually coming down to?
Because it's that, individuals like her that are entrepreneurs aren't celebrated enough.
No.
And they're not respected, right? They should have a seat at the table to help push along what's going on, right? Individuals like yourself that have worked so hard for your business and to lift up other families, as you stated, and to hire these individuals, people that you put your faith in and work hard to provide for themselves. Everybody just kind of gets, all right, whatever, you're okay.
All I know is I'd rather go on a public assistance. It would be an easier life. I mean, instead of, and I'm telling you flat out, I've witnessed this every day, especially a lot of the different conundrums that you deal with, and you figure it out. And again, I say it all the time, my mentor and such like that. And I look up to you and I say, all right, well, I'm going to learn from her and I'm going to do this. Or, you know what, maybe I should go on state assistance. Maybe I should just, wreck the system and, I have an easier life. But then at the same time, my soul is crushed. And I don't understand why everything is like that. But I think there was a couple of things that you were thinking about. I'm sorry, I totally derailed.
No, that is okay. I mean, there's a lot of things that small businesses need help with that I feel like it's not there because in general, all business, whether you're small, medium, or big, you all follow the same rules. There is not much out there when it comes to the small business because the way business works is that you have to put your money in front. So there's nothing there that helps a small business that, okay, let's say you have to pay taxes. All right, we're going to give you additional timing to pay that.
Right.
Because guess what? Your money going to come in very late. There's no such thing to help them. A bigger side business, that's nothing for them. They have investors or they have bank lines of credit. Small business, they can't get those things yet. SBA have many things to offer. It's not something that SBA can provide for the small business as well. But there's a lot of things that the small business have to do up front before they get paid for things. Right. So there is things that could be changed here which would help them give their a little bit more room when it comes to cash flow. So there is a lot of things that, have been spoken to me with other companies as well that goes through a hard time as well when it comes to like their busy season or their slow season because they have to think of cash flow, how to get everybody paid.
And those voices need to be shouted out from the mountaintops, right?
Yep.
Huge.
Why is there no small business caucus that actually gets each and every business owner in every district together, figure out what's holding them down, what's keeping them, keeping them down, and how can they flourish? These are the conversations that need to be had, especially with business owners. They are the lifeblood of our communities. They are the ones paying the most taxes on everything. So a tax break for someone trying to open a new business, that would be great. Nobody thinking about that.
Because give them a tax break on opening a business because if not, they're going to give up renting that storefront and they're going to actually give up getting their license and just become a street vendor because why not? Right.
Yep.
And then, you're employing people. So you're helping to provide.
Correct. You're providing
to the cycle,
labor. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You're employing someone of which they're going to spend their money on another business, and then that's the cycle that we need, right? And that's
you want to encourage them.
Right.
You want to encourage them.
Right.
But the way that it is, there's nothing that's being encouraged. It's just everyone taking a chance just to see what happens.
Yeah, and that definitely is a conversation that needs to be had. Small businesses are the lifeblood of New York City and should be respected more and should have a higher rung on the ladder of success, and to show that these individuals, a small group of individuals that come from all walks of life, are here to provide services to the communities that their business is in. And they're trying to provide quality service. They're hiring people that live in those communities to have them step up, and hopefully one day they can either manage their own business, start their own business, or venture off into doing something else. this is how we give back. This is how we provide the tools for individuals to grow. And this mentality of, no, don't worry about it. You can just stay home. We'll feed you. We'll give you. We'll give you. We'll give
There's
you.
no purpose.
No,
There's no purpose.
You're just, you're just going to sit there
Cattle.
and yeah, you're cattle. You're just eating the grass and then that's it. You do nothing with your day. You're not running. You're not jumping. You're not trying to better yourself. You're not trying to lift up anyone. And that's, something that we definitely have to look at.
Purpose.
I'm a big supporter of small businesses. I love to see a new business open up in my neighborhood and make it.
Support it.
Right.
That's it.
Just going in there even just once or twice just to buy a little something, but because that that's providing something back to us. Unfortunately, in my neighborhood, a lot of doors are closing. A lot of businesses are closing because they can't support, the changes that are happening in the area. They're not making as much money as they should.
Correct.
Theft, robbery, the conditions outside, people not wanting to go to your business because I have to go to that neighborhood where there's a prostitute right next door.
Wow.
I don't want to go there. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want my family to see that.
Correct.
So now we're taking so much away by not trying to fix the quality of life issues happening in these neighborhoods.
And I'll leave off with this, is what I think most people are not getting is that when these things go away, it doesn't mean that a business goes away. It actually means an experience goes away. Your first date with somebody, your first time you take a child to a favorite restaurant of yours. I will say from these episodes, as much as I thought I was on top of things, after speaking and hearing what you said, I need to do more. And thank you for that. Just in general, thank you.
This was an awesome episode just to get these things out. A lot of people don't know what city council can do. And it's not just one district. There's so many districts. And it's bad on them for not going out there and showing themselves. That's right. So we definitely have to promote more of that so people know that the change starts at the city council. And that's more that we should be talking about and getting change. That's the main thing. We all want our family to grow up in a nice neighborhood and everybody to be safe. That's the main thing, right? Yeah. And having a nice neighborhood.
Yeah. And with everything that was talked about on these episodes, again, look at our website. You'll actually see resources. You'll see the different links for Ramses. He's running for city council of District 25. Right. This is in our backyard. Even if it's not in your backyard, if you're listening on this across the nation or wherever it is, just know that look inside your local politicians and know that they make the biggest difference. Correct. And I just know that I learned so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just want everybody to come away with knowing that your voice does matter. You matter. Your family matters. And, get out there, get in your local politicians' face. Let them know what's wrong.
It's okay to do that. It's okay to challenge your politicians.
That's right.
And one thing I would say also, when you're voting for someone, vote for someone who is working. He's a working man or woman. He has a family, and he's living in a neighborhood that you would live in. So he would be the person, or she would be the person you're voting for. That's realistic to what the things you're facing and the challenges and the things that you would want to bring change to. So vote for someone who is actually, hardworking and doing this, and they have experience and they know what they're
like everybody
talking about. Yeah, that's the main thing, is to select a good person. And we all hope that you go out there and you vote for Ramsey.
What day is election day this year?
November 4th.
November 4th.
Yep, I think a real big day.
I think in general, it's the most important day.
Correct. Yes, it is. So go out there and vote. And thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Women that build, and we need more of that.
Yes, we do.
We need to.
We could have more,
Yeah.
We just need to encourage and empower. That's it.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me here.
The resources will be on the website.
Yes,
and many other resources that the city, provides and whatnot.
Correct. We'll be listing them. And if you'd like to join our podcast, please do send us a message and subscribe to our channel as well. Thank you very much.